I'm just being real. I've never fought you on that. Ever. I've not. I just don't understand your logic sometimes.
My jaw hit the floor when I saw this post that Gypsy just made like an hour ago. Is she hinting to the fact that she is trying to get back with Ryan? I'll show you this in just a second, but this was posted not too long after some people started posting little snippets of the live where she talks about Ryan and the comment she made about Ryan slapping that girl on the bottom and how they're still married.
Ryan Anderson, the estranged husband of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, has often been at the center of the ongoing controversy surrounding her public and private life. Known for his candid, sometimes fiery social media presence, Ryan's recent silence is as conspicuous as it is unexpected. Just days after Gypsy reacted to a viral video of Ryan dancing with another woman, followed by her own public address, Ryan's withdrawal raises questions. Did Gypsy's strategic public moves contribute to this silence? Or has Ryan simply decided to walk away from the noise? Let's dig into the layers of this saga, where public perception, emotional manipulation, and narrative control collide. The chain of events began when a video surfaced of Ryan sharing a moment with another woman. On its own, the video was unremarkable, a man moving forward with his life. Yet Gypsy's reaction set the tone for what followed. Gypsy's comment on the video wasn't just reactive, it felt deliberate. Her response, while seemingly emotional, redirected attention from Ryan's personal moment back to her. It fit a familiar pattern of engagement, highlighting Ryan's actions while subtly recentering herself in the narrative. Was this an attempt to provoke Ryan, or simply a way to maintain relevance in a situation where she might have otherwise faded into the background? Gypsy's public comment mirrored past instances where she responded to Ryan's perceived happiness with subtle jabs. This wasn't an isolated reaction, it was a deliberate step in a longer game of narrative control. For Ryan, this kind of engagement might have felt like a trap. Any response would perpetuate the cycle. Gypsy's live video following the viral video of Ryan with another woman was presented as a transparent attempt to clarify her earlier comment. However, her tone, choice of words, and contradictions revealed a more nuanced and potentially calculated intent. While the video ostensibly aimed to address misunderstandings, it instead painted a layered portrait of Gypsy's emotional state and her influence over the narrative. Gypsy began the video with an air detachment and goodwill. I want him to be happy. I've moved on.
A video that I seen of Ryan dancing with a woman. How do I put this? I want Ryan to move on. And this, I don't talk about Ryan in my lives because I don't want to. I don't have to, I don't want to. I have lots of other things to talk about.
On the surface, these words exuded maturity and closure, but the cracks in the facade appeared quickly. Shortly after this declaration, Gypsy vented frustration about Ryan's behavior, stating, "He's been getting on my nerves lately. I'm fed up."
I want us all to be at peace with the situation and move on. I'm doing my best to move on. I don't purposely shoot shots at Ryan often, so when I do, it's because I'm really, really fed up. And raise your hand in the chat if you've ever had an ex that just got under your skin, dude. Seriously.
The sudden shift in tone created a stark contradiction as she oscillated between dismissiveness and irritation. Gypsy's delivery, though calm, betrayed a deeper sense of unresolved resentment. Gypsy's insistence that she had moved on, while expressing annoyance at Ryan's actions, hinted at an internal conflict. The frustration she expressed was less about Ryan's behavior itself and more about how it reflected on her or disrupted the narrative she sought to control. This duality put Ryan in a no-win situation. Gypsy's outward display of detachment implied that Ryan was the one clinging to the past. Any attempt by Ryan to engage with her comments would have risked being framed as further evidence of her inability to move on. Gypsy's subtle provocations created an environment where silence seemed like Ryan's only viable choice to avoid reinforcing her narrative. One of the standout moments of Gypsy's life was her acknowledgement of her own faults. "I wasn't a good wife. I broke Ryan's heart."
And so that's why I'm addressing this. I do want his healing. I want that for him more than anything. I feel a lot of guilt for breaking his heart. But at the same time, breakups happen every day. Divorces happen every day. It's not something exclusive to us. That's my take on it. I feel like, for the most part, I've been very classy.
At first glance, this appeared to be an attempt to take responsibility and show growth. Yet, the statement was quickly followed by her critique of Ryan's behavior. He constantly says, "She's my wife, I can talk about her all I want."
For me, it's kind of like, don't sit there and then constantly be like, she's my wife, I can talk about her all I want. She's my wife, she's my wife, she's my wife. Well, looking at that video, that's my husband. That's my husband. He's slapping some girl's ass. That's my husband. We're still married. He's still married. I'm still married. What I'm saying is 2 wrongs don't make a right. So
this juxtaposition shifted the focus from her admission of guilt to Ryan's perceived inability to let go. While her statement carried a veneer of accountability, it also served to contrast her growth with Ryan's alleged stagnation. By framing herself as the one taking responsibility while highlighting Ryan's supposed immaturity, Gypsy positioned herself as the more emotionally evolved person. This subtle maneuver reinforced the perception of Ryan as someone stuck in the past, allowing Gypsy to appear as the one trying to move forward. This calculated framing had dual effect. On one hand, it allowed Gypsy to portray herself in a positive light, as someone willing to accept her flaws. On the other, it primitively discredited any future responses from Ryan, making him appear defensive or petty if he chose to engage. A pivotal moment in Gypsy's live video was the invocation of her unborn child. This baby is innocent in all of this. It's not about him, it's about me. It's about this baby.
It would be nice, and I think the bigger picture here is there is a child in this situation. It's not his child, so I know that it's not his problem, but there is a child involved. And right now, me and him are acting very childish of our own. And we both need to grow the fuck up. Because it's not about him, it's not about me, it's not about Ken, it's about this baby. This baby is innocent in all of this. This baby didn't ask to be brought into the situation. So the grown-up thing to do would be for the both of us to stop this tit-for-tat game, and once the divorce is final, go our separate ways.
The statement came across as a moral high ground, implying that any continued conflict or public statements from Ryan would ultimately harm the child. While this might seem like a plea for peace, it also acted as a form of emotional manipulation. By centering the conversation around her baby, Gypsy placed Ryan in an impossible position. Any response or public rebuttal from him could be framed as a selfish act that disregarded the welfare of the child. Additionally, this move allowed Gypsy to redirect sympathy toward herself as a mother, protecting her child from unnecessary drama. Toward the end of her life, Gypsy declared, "This is the last time I am talking about him on social media."
Yeah, I get frustrated. I still don't know what's going on with this freaking court. I texted my lawyer yesterday. She was supposed to give me a call. I'm waiting for her to give me a call. Last thing I heard was that, like, Ryan went in to sign the divorce papers. So I signed, he signed. We're just waiting for a court date and for the judge to finalize everything. And
this framing presented her as someone ready to move on, closing the chapter on their public feud. Yet, her parting shots at Ryan suggested unresolved frustrations. "Don't sit there and constantly talk about me while slapping some girl's ass in a video."
that's my husband. That's my husband. He's slapping some girl's ass. That's my husband. We're still married. He's still married. I'm still married. What I'm saying.
This sharp comment undermined her earlier claims of indifference, showing that she was still emotionally invested in how Ryan's actions were perceived. Gypsy's declaration of a final word placed Ryan in a difficult position. By framing her life as a closing statement, she effectively detected the narrative. Any future response from Ryan could now be painted as unnecessary or antagonistic, making it seem as though he was reigniting the conflict. This strategy was particularly effective in controlling the narrative, It allowed Gypsy to appear as the one taking the high road while subtly ensuring that any response from Ryan would work against him. This left him with limited options: either remain silent or risk being perceived as the instigator of further drama. Ryan Anderson's last public appearance on TikTok, posted on October 29th, offered a stark contrast to his usual presence on social media. Historically known for his imposition and direct responses to Gypsy's public actions, this video revealed a more subdued, emotionally drained version of Ryan. His words and tone suggested that the ongoing conflict had taken a significant toll, making this moment as potentially pivotal in his decision to withdraw from the public discourse. In the video, Ryan addressed the ongoing paternity test concerning Gypsy's unborn child, a matter that had been linked to the media. His frustration with how the situation was handled was palpable. It's sad that I have to hear about it through TMZ.
And I just think it's funny. You know, it hit me last night. Guys, Gypsy's probably already had that procedure done, okay? Because you wouldn't tell TMZ about it unless you knew for a fact who the baby daddy already was. So, Ken, congratulations.
The statement spoke volumes, not just about Ryan's feelings regarding the test itself, but about the lack of direct communication between him and Gypsy. For someone once deeply tied to her life, learning such personal information from a media outlet rather than directly from Gypsy or her team likely felt like a deliberate slight. Ryan's discontent extended beyond the paternity test itself. He implied that its handling wasn't just careless but calculated, hinting at Gypsy's motivations. They are probably going to sell the results, surprise, surprise.
It's sad that I have to hear about it through TMZ as far as the test being done. It's really sad. But, guys, I've never fought it. It's a way to, because now they're going to probably sell the results. Surprise, surprise.
This sharp remark underscored Ryan's belief that the test wasn't about resolving questions or clearing the air. It was about generating attention. In his view, the decision to publicize such a sensitive matter reflected the pattern of using personal issues as tools for public manipulation. The tone of Ryan's video carried a profound sense of emotional exhaustion. His usual fiery defiance was replaced by a quiet resignation. I have never once questioned who the baby daddy was. I just don't understand your logic sometimes.
I heard about the DNA test that Gypsy's doing this week. Now, I think that's so strange to me because I've never once questioned who the baby daddy was. Never once said I'm going to make a fuss about it or I'm going to prevent this or do that. I've never said anything like that. I've always said, guys, it's not my baby. Like, I've always said that. And I just think it's funny.
These words revealed more than just frustration. They hinted at a deep weariness with the cyclical nature of his conflict with Gypsy. His exasperation wasn't just with the specifics of the paternity test, but with the broader dynamic in their relationship, where private matters were consistently turned into public spectacles. This shift in tone marked a critical emotional turning point for Ryan. For someone who had previously used social media to defend himself and share his side of the story, this subdued response suggested a growing recognition that his efforts to assert control over the narrative were futile. This realization likely played a significant role in his subsequent decision to step away from the public life. Ryan's candid comments about the paternity test also highlighted a recurring theme in his public struggles with Gypsy: his sense of being outnumbered and outmaneuvered. For Ryan, this was likely not just a moment of anger, but of profound disillusionment. The public nature of the paternity test served as a reminder of how little control he had over the portrayal of his role in their shared story. One of the most striking aspects of Ryan's TikTok was its tone of weariness. Statements like, "Do what you do, Gypsy, I'm just being real."
I just don't understand your logic sometimes. But, you know, a nice call would have been all right to be like, hey, I'm getting this test done. But I don't know what to expect anyway. So, deuces.
Carried an air of defeat, as though Ryan had accepted that further engagement would only perpetuate the cycle of drama. This emotional exhaustion was evident in his body language and delivery. Gone was the animated, impassioned tone that once characterized his videos. Instead, viewers saw a man visibly worn down by the unending conflict and the public scrutiny that came with it. This shift in demeanor wasn't just a reflection of Ryan's feelings about the paternity test. It was emblematic of his broader experience in this ongoing saga. The combination of the public attacks, private frustrations, the constant misinterpretation likely left him feeling that disengagement was the only path to reclaiming his peace of mind. For someone like Ryan, who had long used social media as a platform to defend himself, this retreat was likely not an easy choice. However, it represented a tactical shift in his approach to the situation. Rather than fighting a battle he felt he could not win, Ryan appeared to prioritize his emotional well-being over the need to have the last word. In the ongoing saga between Ryan Anderson and Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Brie, a close friend of Gypsy, played a surprising and critical role during one of her live broadcasts. By casually referencing Gypsy's upcoming divorce party, Brie inadvertently shone a spotlight on the stark contrast between how Gypsy and her inner circle viewed the dissolution of her marriage versus how Ryan likely experienced it. Brie's remarks during the live stream struck a particularly casual tone. "It's a celebration because one of my friend's divorces will be finalized."
And that's all you need to know, people. She has an engagement.
I'm going to a divorce party. It's a celebration because one of my friends' divorces will be finalized on the 9th of December.
Yep.
Her choice of words emphasized a sense of relief and excitement about the end of Gypsy's marriage. While this sentiment might have resonated with Gypsy supporters, it also diminished the gravity of what divorce represents, a significant and often painful life event for both parties involved. For Ryan, who has openly expressed his struggles with the public portrayal of their relationship, such a statement might have felt like a public invalidation of the years they spent together. Divorce isn't simply legal severance. It presents the closure of a chapter that at one point held deep emotional significance. By framing it as a cause for celebration, Brie's comment sidelined Ryan's experience entirely. Throughout the livestream, Brie maintained a light-hearted and almost dismissive tone. She joked about preparing for a divorce party, brushing off the questions about its deeper implications. While her words might have seemed harmless to those close to Gypsy, they carried a heavier weight when viewed from Ryan's perspective.
One of my friends' divorces will be finalized on the 9th of December.
Yep. It's not like a divorce party.
Just kidding.
Brie's tone reflected a broader trend within Gypsy's inner circle, one of public solidarity with her narrative. By treating the divorce as a victory or a milestone, Brie reinforced the perception that Gypsy was moving on triumphantly, leaving Ryan behind in an increasingly marginalized role. This dynamic could have further deepened Ryan's sense of isolation, making it clear that he was no longer part of the conversation about their shared history. One of the most striking aspects of Brie's comments was how it framed the divorce as a moment of triumph for Gypsy. While it's natural for friends to support one another, the celebratory tone came across as dismissive of the emotional weight of the marriage and its dissolution. For Ryan, who has repeatedly expressed frustration with how Gypsy and her circle have handled personal matters publicly, this casual dismissal of their relationship likely felt deeply disrespectful. It wasn't just about the divorce itself. It was about how the significance of their time together was reduced to a footnote in Gypsy's story of moving forward. Brie's livestream also contributed to shaping public opinion. By framing the divorce party as a celebration, Brie indirectly reinforced Gypsy's narrative that the marriage was a mistake, and its end was something to be celebrated. This kind of public framing creates an echo chamber where Gypsy is positioned as the victor and Ryan as the antagonist. For Ryan, this public invalidation of his role in the marriage could have felt like a final blow. Already struggling with how Gypsy controlled the narrative, Brie's comments may have reinforced his perception that speaking out was futile. Every statement he made could be reframed or dismissed in the face of Gypsy's growing support system. Brie's remarks served as more than just light-hearted commentary. They reflected a broader pattern in Gypsy's handling of the situation. Throughout their public feud, Gypsy had maintained a narrative of personal growth and forward momentum. The disengagement was the only way to protect his mental health. Ryan Anderson's silence is a testament to the emotional toll of navigating a public feud with someone who excels at controlling the narrative. For Gypsy, every statement, video, or comment appears calculated to maintain her position of power in the story. For Ryan, the decision to disengage seems both a necessity and a statement in itself. As their divorce finalizes, the saga serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of airing private matters in the public sphere. Silence in Ryan's case may ultimately be the most powerful response.